Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for September 19th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. It was day 48 in the house. We are very close now to the halfway mark of the season. And we had some movement. A veto ceremony occurred. I will give you the results of the veto ceremony. And the whole house is starting to move in a singular direction. And that direction is Jared. So we're going to talk about all of that. And with me to talk about it all is Scally. How you doing, Scally?
Oh, hello, Taran. I am excited to be here for, I think this is my first weekday update. But I heard the direction of this house and I said, I gotta be here for Tuesday. So,
Yes, well, of course, up until this point in the week, Jared is the HOH. He nominated Corey and America with the intention to backdoor Cameron. Jag won the veto. The plan for the day is to use the veto on Corey and put Cam on the block. And if you're watching the video version, you'll see the results of that on the graphic, but we aren't quite there yet. First in the morning, Jag and Matt were talking because the night before, Felicia and Mimi had really been, talking a lot about what happened the previous week with the vote, the flip. Corey had let Felicia know that the entire argument that everyone's been talking about between him and Jared happened because Jared was mad that they flipped to keep Felicia, which was big news for Felicia, who still thought that Jared was with her. And so she has been trying to figure things out. She's talked to Corey, she's talked to America, and just the night before, on day 47, she talked to Jag and Matt. And so in the morning, Jag and Matt are discussing the conversation they had with Felicia and Mimi the night before and how they really liked it. They thought it was good, and that it's very important that they branch out because they can't just have Corey in America. They need more votes. They need big alliances. Listen, there's still so many people in the house. There's a full, whole cohort of people. They need at least like 9 people in their alliance in order to succeed.
yeah, if you don't have everyone but those two people, then who are you going to nominate in case oh, no, wait, never mind. Yeah, that is a tough one. I think a lot of people were curious why, okay, I understand that Felicia can't be trusted necessarily last week when you are flipping the vote, but you're also not gaining her alliance out of it. Turns out that doesn't really maybe matter. You go ahead and let her know this week, and she's going to have a tiny bit of a reaction.
Yeah. And to be clear, I'm poking fun at them because of their need for like building alliances to be so big. But yes, it is important for them to branch out, of course. And it is important for Felicia and Mimi to branch out, which they are throughout the day. Felicia's going to have a lot of conversations with people about what she's been finding out. She talks to America in the morning, and she talks about how she's pissed off about Jared and Suri and how they pushed for her to leave last week. She couldn't believe it when she found out that the argument happened because Jared was mad that they were flipping to keep me. And she says, I think that you, me, Mimi, and Corey, something that they've talked about, the 4 of them working together, we can pull in Bowie. That's 5. And she says, I had a great talk with Jag and Matt last night. I think we can pull them too. I think they're also mad about what happened. So that would be a big group of people that we could all use to go after Suri and Jared. And it's like, whoa, is Felicia being for real about this right now? And yeah, she is, because when she goes into the comic room and sees Mimi, she says, Mimi, I think we should do this. I think we should pull in Bowie, Matt, Jag, and go after Jared and Suri. I'm done with their this might be what Suri did on Survivor and it worked there, but it doesn't work here. This is too long. People talk. I'm going to put them both on the block. It's going to shock the hell out of them.
It's been tough. I mean, Jared had said to Felicia previously, like, the only reason I didn't use the veto on you is because Suri would not have survived the block. But don't worry, you totally would have. We knew it was good. So that's going to be tough. I mean, for Felicia and Mimi, it totally makes sense to look for the relationships elsewhere and to branch out. I think winning an HOH and actively targeting Jared and Suri is kind of a big problem. So maybe let people take shots at each other. But I don't know that getting out Suri and Jared is like themselves is actually a good move.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, if they win, they should use the opportunity, in my opinion, to take out somebody like Jag or Matt. Like, those two are going to be the next big threats. And for as much as Jared and Suri lied and didn't protect you, they're not coming for you anytime soon. And so you probably wouldn't want to take that shot, but it's fine for them to all be against each other. And it's fine to make those relationships. You should definitely make those relationships. But I feel like a lot of the players have gone through this stage of like realizing what happened, kind of like going too far in the other direction. And then they have to kind of come back to the middle of like, okay, we don't actively have to do something right now because other people are going to do it. You just have to make sure that enough other people are going to do it before it goes too far back in the other direction again.
Yeah, it's tough. I think like if Suri and Jared had like a more clear understanding of where Felicia stands right now, I think they could do good work in pushing her back towards that middle. But I think without a little bit of work, Felicia is kind of stuck in the mud a little bit where she is, stuck in that goop, not really going to budge at the current moment. But if, they last some time in the house together, things could change.
Yeah, there's an issue going on here. So obviously there's a lot of momentum going against Jared and now Suri, largely because of the events of last week and how Jared played last week, and then the big blow up where Jared really got caught. Um, But Suri had been making some progress back, right? She'd kept Felicia for to some degree. She had Bowie. She's gonna try and work on Mimi a little bit. And she's trying to claw her way back in. But Suri has a problem. And the problem, again, as per usual, is her son, who has not told her that he told Blue about the fact that she's her mother. And so she's failed when she's tried to talk to Blue because she doesn't have that information. On top of that, everything Suri is doing now, instead of going to Izzy, is going to Jared. She's telling Jared everything. And guess who Jared tells everything to? Blue. Guess who Blue talks to? Jag, Matt, Corey, America. So everything Suri is doing is immediately getting leaked back to Jag, back to Corey, back to America, and it's just demolishing anything that she could possibly do in the game. And we're going to talk about some of the examples of this happening today,
Yeah.
because it's destroying both of them.
A total double whammy where it's like she has like really good reads, but then they're all being exposed. And he's also telling her that her reads are wrong. And so it's like she can't even do even if they were exposed, at least if she was acting on those reads, maybe something would happen. But like he's talking her down. And so like she's taking half a step back where like should be fully in on trying to repair things here.
Yeah. So Matt and America talk a little bit. They're worried that Bowie might be buying what Suri is selling. They know that Suri is trying to work on Bowie because Blue let them know that that's what she's doing, and also they're seeing the conversations. They need to make sure that Bowie doesn't buy into it, so they're going to be working on Bowie throughout the day. They both kind of believe that Felicia is with them right now, and believing what they're saying about Suri. So they think that that's going in a good direction. And then this is when Blue comes and tells Matt and Jag about Suri. So they're filling Blue in about it's, sorry, I think Skelly's frozen. Very funny spot. Okay, sorry. So he just it's like he's judging me for laughing. Okay, he's gone. Um, so, whew. All right. We're good. We're good. Jag and Matt are informing Blue about Felicia and their conversations with her. And so, hey, there he is. And Blue lets them know that Jared told her that Suri told him that she thinks Matt and Jag are gonna throw the next HOH. That conversation happened the night before. Suri had a correct read on this. She told Jared. Jared said, nah. Then Jared told Blue that's what Suri thought. Then Blue told Matt and Jag, and their response is, you know what? Maybe we should win next week. Maybe winning next week would be fine. Maybe maybe we should win. And Blue's like, what? Why? Wait, well, hold on. That's not what I wanted you to say. um, and Jack's like, I don't know. I mean, it secures us a spot in jury at least. And Blue says, okay, yeah, well, I guess we're in a good enough position that if we win, we don't have to show our cards because there's plenty of other people we can take shots at, right? Because we're not going to take a shot at Jared. That's not what you're saying, right? We're not going to win and take a shot. And Jack's like, I mean, listen, the way I see it, if you win, you can figure it out. I'd rather not put the power into somebody else's hands. And so all of a sudden now, just like that, Jag and Matt are thinking about no longer, trying to throw the competition, which is something that would have been very bad for them if the wrong outcome happened. But they're getting into a spot now where they're willing to win and just go ahead and take the shot at this point. Hey, if Suri's not even with us, she's talking about us like that. Like, what does it even matter? They've got reasons. And that's what they discuss afterward. So, not great.
No, not great at all. Not great at all. That's the thing, is I feel like Blue has kind of landed in a spot of like, oh, we could play this middle pretty effectively, but somehow it's pushed Matt and Jag a little even further away. They're doubling down on the like, oh, well, we actually can just go ahead and take the shot ourselves. That is bad. Definitely really bad that they feel so comfortable just like drawing the line already. It feels like the line has been drawn for them. So since that has been leaked, feels like they have nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm. Blue lets them know that she plans to because they told Blue that Felicia's, anti Suri and Jared now. And Blue literally says to Jag, she's like, all right, well, Felicia wants to talk to me. So if she tells me about this, just so you know, I'm going to tell Jared about what Felicia's saying. Because I don't want, I don't want to not tell Jared. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. Thanks for letting us know that maybe we should hold other information back in the future.
Pretty much.
But you go ahead this time.
Yeah. And it's like I obviously I don't want Blue to target Jared. But and I like what she's trying to do, trying to get the target on Suri, trying to keep Jared in the game, trying to work both sides. It's just the execution, it gets worse and worse day to day here. And so, it's not looking amazing so far. But hey, her position is still fine. The position is good. It's just what she's, furthering the position doesn't seem to be helping. Matt does talk to Jared. They talk about the veto. It needs to be used. Cam needs to go up. Jared is going to talk to Matt a few times throughout the day. He talks about how everyone knows, everyone saw Corey's lies get exposed in that meeting. So, everyone knows what's up. Meanwhile, Matt is going to America and telling her about how much he hates Jared because he tried to take advantage of his disability in that meeting of minds. So yeah, not exactly the right read there, Jared.
Yeah. Oh, another bad read on the house. Not as surprising. So yeah, not great.
Yeah, they're also going to have later in the night a conversation about long distance relationships that people found very interesting, I guess. But listen, we know where these two stand on women. It's fine.
Yeah, just right past it.
Felicia talks to Bowie. She tells Bowie that she thinks that Suri is lying to her. They both agree, Suri is a liar. And this is just gonna spread. This stuff just spreads around. That Felicia's talking to as many people as possible. Bowie's talking to people. America's talking to people. They're all just talking about Suri and Jared. They're all talking about targeting Suri and Jared. A bunch of these conversations are going to happen. But first, God, no. The veto
Me?
ceremony. Jag takes Corey down, and Cam goes up on the block. So Cameron is now officially up on the block next to America. And you know,
Yeah.
they're voting him out as of now, and Izzy's not in the game, so I don't know if this is really gonna even come close to changing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that maybe if Izzy was in the game, points of there's a showmance, like one half of a showmance on a block, we could really break this up. We could figure it out. That might be discussed. I mean, Felicia was even being pretty public in her disdain for Suri and Jared pre-veto ceremony. So people were worried, like, oh, if you are loud enough about this, you might end up going up on the block, So where at least Cameron is offering a deal. Felicia's like, no, I am actively targeting the HOH who has not got to make a renom. So people were like kind of sort of worrying, but ultimately now Cameron goes right on that block. Doesn't feel like things are going to change too much, but we've been in that position before, so who knows.
Yeah. So after the ceremony, Jag and Matt, they talk about how Blue told them Cerise thinks they're going to throw the comp, and they really do think they should just win it now. Just win the comp, put Suri and Jared up straight up, say, listen, we have reasons to. At this point, we tell Suri, we've heard so many things about you, even after all of what went down. We've been hearing things about you. So, you're not the target, but you know, like even Matt is saying, yeah, I would put up Suri. And this is again like an example of just how far things have fallen, even through this week with Jared as the HOH when they should be able to rebuild. Things are getting somehow still worse. And it's mainly through Suri talking to Jared, talking to Blue, who leaks to, I guess Jared leaking to Blue, who leaks to Jag, who leaks to Corey, who leaks to Bowie, who leaks to Felicia. Like
It's
everything
tough.
Suri says is going out to basically the entire house within like hours.
Yeah. The worst part about it, for Suri, really, is that originally the plan was to backdoor Jared and like, oh, we could put up Suri and Felicia, Suri and Bowie. Like, they're not really on board. Since they have become a lot more on board, this plan of straight up making it Jared versus Suri puts Suri in so much of a worse position. I mean, just in that Jared now has the chance to win the veto and has to use it on himself rather than if he gets drawn and can use it on her, obviously puts her in a way worse spot. So very nerve wracking for our girl Suri there.
Yeah, basically, like before the week started, everyone was targeting Jared. Jared wins the HOH, and ideally, with the HOH, you want to turn this whole thing around. You want to disrupt everything that was trying to be built by your enemies. You want to build back a new structure, and then be back on top by the end of the week. That didn't happen. That wasn't happening. People still did not trust. He did too much damage to all of the relationships, especially in that argument, to ever get back to that position based on how he was playing that week. However, you had like not necessarily the next best thing, but like another step down on the rungs was okay, well, there are enough people who feel like we won't target them that they're looking to throw the HOH so that they don't have to make a move. Because there are now a bunch of people thinking that we should throw HOH, and now just a couple people we have to beat, and we might win HOH again. And then we have another opportunity to continue to build and disrupt. Except now that has also faltered, and now everyone is looking to win the HOH. And then you'd be like, well, at the very least, they might be a little hesitant to put both of us on the block. Well, not anymore. Everyone is looking to win the HOH, and nearly everyone is looking to just straight up put Suri and Jared on the block. It has just gotten worse and worse and worse over the course of the week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the pre-veto noms, like, should have made it so easy for them to be in a position where, like, Felicia and Mimi and Matt and Jag, like, everyone felt comfortable throwing next week. Bowie, like, they should have been that, but because things have been leaked so far back and forth, well, really just one way, it really makes it tough where now they do not feel comfortable. I mean, Jag has been talked about as an option this week. Like, it's tough. There's no reason at this point for Jag to obviously be throwing. Like, Matt's not throwing because it's his closest ally at this point. Like, it's over. there's all the leaks have happened.
Yeah. So Suri does try to work on Mimi. She talks about, like how they should be sticking together, the four of us. Mimi is playing along. Yeah, one of the four of us has to win. Suri is worried that they're coming for Jared. Again, the fact that Suri is trying to work on Mimi immediately goes to Jared, goes to Blue, gets leaked out. And so they now know that Suri is trying to pretend like these alliances are still real to Mimi. And later in the night, they're going to have a conversation about that. But just know that, again, any conversation Suri has, it gets out. So now they know Suri is trying to work on Mimi.
Yeah, may as well be just like house meetings, broadcasted over the speakers. It doesn't matter. May as well. It only affect the other person in terms of what they're saying. But Cerise, it's getting around there. Honestly, it might be more accurate information, and so like it wouldn't be villainized in such a way that maybe broadcasting would be better for Cerise game at this point.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. America's going to have a conversation with Bowie. They talk about working together. Bowie is, people still don't want to hear it, but Bowie's been working. So a lot of people are still like, Bowie does nothing. Bowie played the hell out of Cam last week. Cam, who was like, oh, Bowie is the most pure-hearted, like, doesn't lie in this game. The second he was out of power, she was like, who's Cam? I don't know him. Cam sucks. I'm all about the people who actually have power in this game. Hey, Jag and Matt. Hi, Corey in America. Hey, Suri, you want to keep talking to me? I'm game, even though I know you've made fun of me. Hey, people call me stalker. I've heard stories, Suri. She's playing the field, and her thing is that she is talking to people and making these like quote unquote alliances that don't have names. She's like, I want to work with you. Let's work together. Let's essentially be in an alliance. Let's not name it though. That's how people get in trouble. I don't want to name anything unless we call it Corey's Alliance, in which case we'll name it Corey's Alliance. But that is what Bowie's doing. She's talking to America about working together. That's what she wants to do. Basically, everyone in the game right now feels like they've pulled Bowie in.
Yeah. I mean, look, people are saying Bowie Jane, she's just there. She's all vibes. Well, when the vibes are bad with Cameron, she moves on. She finds good vibes. She's moving on to who is having, all of the good, nice, safe vibes of the house. And she hitches right up to their wagon. So I think that Bowie is going to be putting herself in a spot where she really could convert on her position if she just, makes a couple moves.
Honestly, I'm just, it's day 48. I'm gonna say it now. Watch out. I think Bowie can win this game. I think that like her position is so like nobody's targeting her for such a long time. And I think that people are sleeping on her in competitions. I think that she's actually performed pretty well. All it would take, I think, for Bowie is to get deep enough to be able to win a couple of endgame comps, especially if some of these physical guys are gone. That it's not, listen, I'm not saying she's a front runner. I'm not even necessarily saying she's a dark horse. I'm just saying she can win. I think a lot of people have assumed that she just couldn't win for a long time. I don't think it's impossible by any means. So watch out for Bowie Jane.
Look at her. Keep working on those relationships. When those relationships matter in the final jury vote. So,
yeah. There's a lot more discussions about how to take the shot at Jared, whether it should be a backdoor, whether it should be putting him straight up next to Suri. A lot of people favor putting him right up next to Suri. Corey is back and forth a little bit on the back door versus putting them straight up. It seems like he starts to lean toward putting them straight up, but he comes back again and he kind of goes back and forth because Corey likes to think of all the scenarios. But the main focus is just straight up with Suri. Um, there's also more conversations with Felicia about solidifying her against Suri and where she's moving. Felicia ends up talking to Blue, having that conversation with Blue, and tells Blue about how she is against Jared and Suri. She's done with them. And Blue says, I am playing as an individual. You don't have to worry about me being with them. And of course, she immediately runs this conversation back up to Jared.
Yeah, Blue might say she's done with Jared. I mean, she's still, it's interesting to watch her. Like, she says, like, I'm done with Jared on a game level, but like personal, it's still there. And so she's still maintaining that relationship. I wonder how it would affect like her nominations. And is like that really just the game level that she's talking about, but like we're still sharing all our secrets? Because Blue does not seem to stop leaking things both ways. But at least she may be done with him in terms of like not letting him affect her nominations as closely.
Yeah, I mean, so as far as we know, based on what she's been talking about, if she did win, and she was planning to throw it, but after talking to Jag, she might now try to win. She might agree with Jag that they should try to win, but there's still plenty of days left for her to figure out exactly what she would want to do. She would not take the shot at Jared, and she would not take the shot directly at Suri either. That's what she was telling Jag about. Essentially, we're in a good enough position. There's plenty of other targets we could focus on. I would assume that this is where like I mean, she has talked in the past about putting Corey and Bowie up. But she could also theoretically take a shot at like Felicia or Mimi. So Blue is kind of like the one wild card, the one person who, if she tries to win, would probably not take that shot. And people are starting to recognize that, and they're starting to feel like we really don't want Blue to win. So that for that reason, they might try to talk her into throwing over the next few days because she was already inclined to in the first place. Um,
Yeah.
so uh, Suri talks to Felicia, and they have a long conversation where Suri tells Felicia that she's sorry for not leading the charge to keep her. That she, she really should have just stood up and done what she wanted, regardless of what the house was doing. Suri, unfortunately, very behind on the information that's out. She should have talked to Jared first because Jared is going to quickly tell her that Felicia knows a lot more than she thinks. But she says she doesn't want what happened to taint their relationship. We don't see the rest of the apology because the feeds are cutting in and out all night. And so some of the stuff I'm talking about, by the way, is like a little bit guesswork because the feeds were in and out so much. But based on like who knew what at what time, we can sort of presume what happened. Um, but Suri says that she thinks that Corey, America, and Jag are going to make a final three, and that they need to stick together. So they have this long conversation, and Suri's then going to talk to Jared in the HOH room, and Jared warns Suri that Felicia is talking about them now. So clearly he got this from Blue. He's warning Suri about it, and he says that from what he's heard from Blue, Jag is like not rocking with that because Blue is conveying the information that like Felicia is against them, but trying to protect her allies, Jag. Which again, I like the intention, the execution a little obvious, but she's saying Felicia's against you, Jag's not. And Suri says in response to this, like, oh, well, I was just talking with Felicia and we were talking about Jag being with Corey in America. There being like a final three there. And so once again, this information is going to go back to Blue, which goes back to Jag and Matt, who now think that that long conversation, that first of all, that Suri's now working on both Mimi and Felicia, and that Felicia told Suri that Jag has a final three with Matt, with Corey in America. So they think, sorry, let me just we'll try and go through this. Corey, America, Jag, and Matt now think that Felicia told Suri that Jag has a final three with Corey in America because because Suri actually said that to Felicia, but then when she relayed that to Jared, it wasn't clear. And when Jared relayed it to Blue, it sounded like it came from Felicia. So now they're worried about Felicia again, and they're thinking that Felicia's trying to play all sides. And in order to pull Felicia back to their side, they want to rat Suri out to Felicia and say, hey, guess what? You were talking to Suri about Jag being in a final three with Corey in America. Well, that information has already gone out. She's already leaked your theory about that final three. To which I think Felicia will respond, what the hell? I didn't even have that theory. That was Suri's theory. She's even more of a liar than we all thought. So that's what's happening.
Yep, like I said, maybe if it was broadcast, I don't know, Cerie's original theory would have been out there, but it's probably going to be exposed anyway, and at least it wouldn't look like she was lying on Felicia. So maybe it would have been better if it was just, played over the speakers, the game at this point. I think it's going to be tough. I think Felicia, had that conversation and it could have been good work, but when she knows that Cirie is lying to her, it's only going to come off like, you are continuing to lie to me. Why are you doing this? I understand that it's an apology, but no, I'm out. I think it's going to turn her even more solidly against Cirie, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like if we make a survivor metaphor, Cirie is trying to build a fire right now. Her previous fire got doused by Jared. And now she's trying to rebuild. She's pulling in the kindling. She's trying to start a spark. But the problem is the second she even gets any spark, Jared's foot is coming down and stomping on it. And she's like, okay, let me just keep trying. And then it's just stomping again. It's like anything that she's trying is just making it worse. And she doesn't even realize it because everything's like, we talked in the beginning of the season, we talked in the preseason about like how much of an advantage is having your son on the cast. And obviously it's a massive advantage. But one thing we talked about was like with Cirie in particular, she is good enough that like and the fact that it is her son, and not just like somebody she knows that you could like not trust everything with, but trust your life when you know what I mean. Like she not only trusts Jared, but like she's willing to like just give her life in the game to Jared. She's willing to like trust his reads and willing to trust that he's not lying to her about what he's doing and who he's telling things to because he's her son. And so we said like this might actually be a spot where he actually is kind of more of a liability than a benefit. And he has been a benefit. I mean, I think that the biggest part that he's been a benefit to was the family style alliance. He was able to leak that. There were a lot of holes in that alliance, but it definitely fell apart a lot quicker than it would have otherwise. That said, the next HOH was Heisem. And Heisem was always with Cirie. She was able to use the information that they were making that alliance to further pull them against there. But like Corey was never in family style all the way. Like that, I think was going to break apart. Other than that, he hasn't really provided a lot other than a couple of wins. And the biggest benefit for Cirie, for me, for Jared being in there is endgame stuff. Jared leaving and Cirie still being in the game is very bad for her because her end game is tough, especially now that she's been so discredited. But like that was always the biggest thing. It was like, well, once they get to the end game, having Jared there to win comps and like have two shots at making it to the final two, super, super advantageous. However, it is not helping her right now. It is making things considerably worse. It has definitely been a huge reason that the empire was toppled, which is not to say that Cirie did not make mistakes on her own. We've talked about those extensively over the last few weeks. The moves that she made between the Heisem stuff and the use of the power and even the red stuff and the Bowie stuff. Like there's definitely been mistakes there, but I think we've clearly seen that without Jared, she would have been able to continue operating through those because that's just how her game works. And that like very clearly Jared's actions and decisions throughout the last few weeks and especially have really put them both in this position and now is like very actively continuing to keep them in this position and make things even worse as he has now lost his showmance. Like this has never happened before. Like Jared has lost his showmance. His showmance. And his showmance is actively like just completely destroying his game. Not on accident, not because she's trying to make it seem like they're not. She's actively lying to him, hiding information. The only reason she's even trying to remotely keep him in the game is because she knows it's advantageous to her, but she's trying to actively take his mother out and destroy his mother's game and his own game. And like this is where we're at this point, and Suri is hitched to it.
It's tough. Like, yes, I think the biggest advantage was Jared exposing exactly who was in family style, so Serene knew who exactly to target to like build up another side of the house and make that alliance. Since then, it has proven to be quite difficult to work around having Jared as a number two. Yeah, there have been some good moves. I think Corey said it, and everyone has kind of said it was a good estimation. When Jared's in a good mood, he can be a really good, effective player, and then occasionally things turn south, and kind of throws all the good work he did away. So it's been kind of in that latter half for a couple weeks now, and we have lost the good player that we saw originally, maybe working out in Jared, and it's really, really affecting Suri's game.
Yeah. And this is something that I want to talk about with America too, where like even now that it's been proven that America was telling the truth the whole season, it's taken a long time for people to get over the initial perspective they had on America and trust her. They're still talking about how she's like not reliable and not trustworthy, even to this day. And it's because of like the reputation she had, even though she was always trying to tell the truth for the most part. And a big reason for that is that it is so incredibly damaging. America is a great liar, but she has a reputation for being a liar. If you're a great liar, you usually don't have a reputation for being a great liar. Why did that happen? She got caught in some lies early on, caught in a lot of lies early on. In fact, caught over and over and over in lies early on because she kept trying to make things work with Suri and Izzy and then leaking stuff. And then it was exposed that that was a lie. And they were like, oh my God, she tricked us again. And then she would get back in with them and then she would expose things and then they would find out. And then she'd be like, oh my God, she tricked us again. And so you build up a reputation for being this for being a liar. And then even though you've been telling the truth, you maintain this reputation. Obviously, there's a lot more going on with America that we've talked about extensively with regards to how the men are seeing her and stuff like that. But the point here is that this same thing is now happening to Suri. Suri is a very, very, very good liar and very good at winning people to her side. But the entire house is now taking a crash course on how to see through Suri's lies because they're watching it happen to their face and then they're immediately getting the information that like, nope, that was actually a lie. And then they're getting it again, and then they're getting the information again. Nope, that was a lie. It's like they're taking a test. Like, hey, what did Suri tell you, a truth or a lie? Truth. Nope, it was a lie. Damn it, she got me again. Okay, next time. Is she telling you a truth or a lie? Is this one a lie? Correct. Whoo, all right, I'm starting to learn now. And so even if Jared goes, like, this is a tricky spot for Suri. Her reputation has just been put all the way in the trash in this house. And it's going to be difficult to get anybody to trust her from this point moving forward.
If it wasn't even a double eviction, if we had a full eviction cycle, and let's say we lost Jared in that first eviction cycle, I have a little bit, not a little bit, I have a lot of faith in Suri that, like, within the course of 2 eviction cycles, she could put in some good work, maybe figure it out once they're on the block. And, especially when she's without Jared, start figuring things out. But given that it's going to be a double eviction in which she could possibly herself go out in, or Jared goes and then she only has that first week to do the work, I'm considerably more nervous.
Yeah. Well, Corey, Matt, and Jag are going to talk later into the night. They were having a hangout session with America as well, but they talk in the bathroom about some plans for next week. They just need to make sure that Cirie doesn't win. That's the only person they're concerned about. They don't really know what Blue would do, but they're hoping that Blue might throw. They don't fully trust Blue anymore because of how much she's been trying to protect Jared. So they'll have to keep her at arm's length. But as soon as Jared leaves, they can work with Blue again. So they talk about that. They talk about how they want to make sure that Felicia or Mimi don't come after them, and because they've heard now that Felicia is spreading this theory that Jag has a final three with Corey in America. So they're worried about Felicia. What if Felicia targets Matt or Jag or something like that if she wins? So they think the way to prevent that is we should go to Felicia and let her know that what she told Cirie was leaked all over the house. And Jag was like, well, did it leak all over the house or did it just leak to Blue? And they're like, well, yeah, it just leaked to Blue. So he's like, well, so this might come back on Blue if we do this. And Corey's like, do we care?
It's not us.
I mean, she's been leaking our information all over the place all season long, and she just hasn't in the last couple days. And like at the end of the day, she's still with Jared. Like she's never gonna target Jared. That would be a terrible move for her because he's never gonna target her. Jag's like, you're right. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, Jag says, I don't want to be the one to do this because I don't want to get in trouble with Blue. But if you or America do it, that's cool with me. Like, we'll leak this. If Blue gets in trouble, Blue gets in trouble. But ideally, Felicia just gets mad at Cirie.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you do risk Blue not giving you quite as much information in the future. But knowing Blue, I think she'll continue to probably leak just as much in the future. So it seems like a pretty safe move for Corey here to go ahead and expose that, Cirie may have, herself leaked things that Felicia said.
So that's kind of the plan for them. Jag is actually going to have a conversation with Bowie where they talk more about Cirie's lies, and they bond more about that. And Bowie talks to Jag about how they should work together, but don't name it because that's how you get in trouble. And Jag talks some more. This is something he's been talking about a lot, about how Cirie and them, they've just been bullying him. It's bullying. And I think this is sort of like started to really annoy people because he keeps talking about being bullied. This is the thing, right? In real life, making up lies about somebody and spreading them behind their back and trying to discredit them and trying to get their friends to turn against a person, yeah, you would call that bullying in real life. In Big Brother, that's the game. And we have sort of a different view of what qualifies as bullying in Big Brother because that is just, again, how you play the game. And there's like different criteria. There's other things that we would qualify, like deeper things that we would qualify as bullying. And so, on one hand, like I get it. I get why somebody might feel like those things are bullying because again, I think that that like in real life, you would feel that way. And that would be justified. But this is the game. And Jag, you are also doing these things. Like you are currently in the process of betraying some of your friends and spreading information about people to make other people not trust them anymore and getting their friends to turn on them. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. Everyone is partaking in the same exact actions, and when Cirie does it, it's bullying. But when you do it, it's fine. It's a problem. Yeah, I really don't love when the word gets thrown around so freely on reality shows in general, and especially when it's in regards to just playing the game that you all signed up to play.
Mm-hmm. It was just like, particularly to me in this conversation, he's literally went from that to then talking about how they're going to turn everyone on Cirie. And like, it was very clear as day to me. Like you were literally in this very conversation. And not only that, but you are talking to a person that would have a much better claim than you on that, because Bowie's been called all kinds of names and all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, it's just like, come on, I get it, especially at first, but we're now days removed, Jag. You know, let's chill.
Hmm.
Um, they talk about, Jag, Bowie, Matt, Corey, America. That's kind of like the crew moving forward. And so, they kind of lock that in a little bit, but not named. Um, Jag and Matt talk some more about, Jag says there's no chance I'm throwing the HOH anymore. This is, you know, they have just lost every bit of possible thing moving forward. I mean, Suri and Jared, because now Jag and Matt are no longer making the mistake of throwing the HOH. They don't feel good about Blue anymore because she keeps trying to push that they take out Suri instead of Jared. They feel really good about Corey and America. But Matt says again, like, that is a small number. We need to make sure we still have more people. And they try to figure out what to say to Mimi tomorrow because they want to talk to Mimi. That was kind of the plan. They're going to go talk to Mimi, and then maybe America and Corey might talk to Felicia. They just want to make sure that Mimi and Felicia are still on board to take the shot at Suri and Jared, because they're worried about Felicia apparently thinking that Jag has a final three with Corey and America.
Yeah. The information has been going around the house. I don't think that it is fully true of the three of them and working together in a considerable degree. Like, yeah, but we don't want people to be looking at that and thinking that it's true, even if we definitely are working together as the three of us.
Yeah. So that's basically what we've got here. The vote is still very set right now. It feels weird to say that this season, but that's feels pretty set. The entire house, as we talked about, as you can see now, they're all forming into one like pointed sort of motion aimed right at Suri and Jared, with really only Blue right now, not looking in that direction, but she's very much facilitating people into that direction. And so the double eviction is looking pretty precarious for them. And that's really like what's going on. I think the next main thing, if all of this stays in place, is this new group, almost everyone on the same page. As soon as Jared leaves, maybe even Suri leaves, where do they go from there? What are the groups that form from that? And that's where there's not really a lot of movement yet there, because it's basically three separate groups. It's Corey and America, it's Mimi and Felicia, and then it's Jag, Matt, and Blue a little bit. If Jared leaves, then Blue would be there. And so, like, if Suri stays, you could theoretically see Mimi and Felicia try to pull her back in. If Corey and America can try to pull Bowie in, and then it's like three trios ish. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how this end game shapes up, because we do not know what the structure is at this point.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how the game continues to evolve. There's been talk of like Felicia saying like, "Ooh, me, you, Corey and America could be a nice little foursome." Like, there's been talk between Matt and Jag and Corey and America. So there are many different ideas of who wants to actually be working together out of this like giant alliance that is currently forming. And I just think that we need to get through this double eviction, let things settle, and that's really where we're going to start figuring out what the end game looks like.
Yeah. All right, Scally, anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I am hoping that maybe the vote holds for once. And we have a nice, calm, great week.
I do just want to bring one thing up, which is that if you go on Big Brother and you get into a showmance, I don't know, like, don't make out while you're talking game. That's all. If you're gonna make out, take off the mic, stop talking. Nobody wants to hear
Ugh.
it. It's all day with these people. It's gotten to a point. I prefer Jared and Blue and cleaning up because I don't have to see it. You know,
Yep.
It's
It's
constant.
hard.
It's all day with these people.
At
And the
first, it was
noises.
at first it
Teach
was
him
like,
America.
all right, if both showmances are on screen, at least if you're watching Corey in America, they might talk some game in between making out. But now it's like I have to watch the making out. Whereas with Blue and Jared, I know I can just switch to the other cam, even if it is Bowie Jane doing the dishes. Like that is
Yeah.
what I can switch to. But no, I need to see if Corey in America come up for air for 3 seconds to say, actually, you know who I don't trust in between, making out.
I'm trying to listen to the game talk, and then all of a sudden it's like and now all of a sudden I'm watching like these two people making out in a bed, and I look over and my cat's staring at me like, Taran, what are
Mm,
you doing?
yeah. God forbid
This
someone
is
walks in
rough.
on you watching the feeds any time this year. Too much.
Exactly. Exactly. Anyway, that's what we've got for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. We're gonna be live with Rachel Riley to check in and get her thoughts on the season. Suri in a lot of danger. We know that they're buddies, so we'll see what her thoughts are about the whole situation right now. That's going to be at 1:30 p.m. Eastern today, so you can check out that little check-in. And then, of course, I'll be back here tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. And of course, tonight we have the Stock Watch, the roundtable, where I think a lot of things are going to be turned on their heads here, as ratings will shift all over the place over from the last week of events. So should be a big one. Make sure you check out the survey if you want to participate in the ratings and the favorite player listings and all of that. I'll tweet out the survey link over there on Twitter after this podcast. And so lots to check out today, and then lots more to check out tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us here. You can, of course, find me on Twitter at Armstrong Taran, over on Instagram, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong. Scally, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Brian_Scally, also on Twitch at twitch.tv/bscally. Tempting my first ever Pokemon Nuzlocke. That is proving difficult. Yes, it's not easy. And then also talking about the Challenge USA and soon to be Challenge 39 over on the Dom and Colin podcast feed. So check that out as well.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today, and I will see all of you next time.